and welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about chromosome walking. Okay, so this is the concept from genetics, right? From molecular biology, you will come across this. Okay, so chromosome walking is a method of positional cloning used to find or isolate and clone a particular allele in a gene library. Okay, so what is allele? So in a given gene, a part of that gene or a sequence which actually codes for a particular genetic trait is known as allele. Okay, and this particular trait is passed on from adults to their offsprings. Okay, such as the allele of brown eyes in the gene of eye color. Okay, so that is allele. So here we are going to study, or this technique actually here is applied for getting the position, okay, of the particular sequence or allele. Okay, sometimes the location of these single alleles uh, these alleles or single allele is known, and sometimes it is not. Okay, so when it is not known, at that time chromosome walking is done. We don't know that where the sequence has changed or where the mutation has occurred. Okay, so we need to do chromosome walking to get the particular sequence. Okay, so for example, here we will consider that we are going to uh, isolate a particular allele for a genetically transmitted disease. Okay, so the particular gene or the allele is not sequenced, it is not mapped. That means if we will consider here that there is a mutated sequence here. Okay, so we don't know where actually the mutation is, which type of mutation it is, so we will call that particular allele as unmapped DNA sequence. Okay, so this mutated sequence is causing some changes, and now you want to study that. So to study that, we are going to apply chromosome walking. Okay, so how you will do that? Before this particular unmapped DNA sequence, there is some other sequence present, right? So we will use that particular sequence which is already known. For example, if it is known, then you can directly use that as a probe. You can design primers for that, and you can go on for mapping the further sequence. Okay, if that previous sequence is also not known, then you need to do testings for that first. You need to know the sequence, then you need to design primers for that, and then you will map the further sequence. Okay, so this is a bit tedious work. Okay, so to locate a particular disease gene, the walking starts at the closest gene that has been identified, and that is considered as a marker gene. Okay, so sometimes it may happen that due to genetic libraries or due to previous studies, you may get the known or identified marker gene. Okay, so this makes your work bit easy, but if that is not the case, then you need to study that marker gene also. You need to identify that gene first, and then you can move on to study your unmapped DNA sequence. Okay, so each successive gene in the sequence is tested repeatedly for overlap restrictions. Okay, I will read that again. Each successive gene in the sequence is tested repeatedly for overlap restrictions, and it is mapped for their precise location in the sequence. Okay, so in uh, the gene, when you study uh, the sequence, then it is not exactly that from the sequence A and sequence B you will get the exact sequence each time. You may get some overlaps. Okay, because our techniques are not that precise that you will just uh, get a 10 base pair sequence each time. Okay, if the gene is of 10 base pairs, then you will only get 10 base pairs. It is not the way. Okay, you may get 13 base pairs, you may get 15 base pairs. Okay, so that is the overlap of the next gene that you will get in your results. Okay, so we will use those overlaps, okay, from the genes which is present before and after our desired gene. We will use that overlaps to get the precise location of our sequence. Okay, so this is how the chromosome walking also works. So eventually the walking through the genes reaches the mutant gene in a unmapped sequence that binds to the fragment of a gene of the particular disease. Okay, so eventually by chromosome walking through the gene, it reaches the mutant gene in an unmapped sequence that binds to the fragment of the gene of the particular disease. Okay, so this is how you can get the unmapped DNA sequence. You can study the mutant gene. Okay, so once the gene is cloned, okay, it its functions can be carefully identified. That means once the gene is cloned, you can study that gene. Throughout this process, tests are done to fully identify the properties of each successive clone to map their location. Okay, so during this whole process of chromosome walking, many tests are done to fully identify the properties of each clone. Okay, each and every chromosome walking gene or the gene product or the clone is actually tested. Okay, it is identified each time that whether this is the desired gene or not, whether this is the um, known gene or it is the some other gene. Okay, so all these tests are done to fully identify what has been cloned. Okay, whether it is known, it is unknown, or it is something else. Okay, there are positional cloning tests that are done prior to a chromosome walk to narrow down possible particular genetic sequence that may contain the desired mutant gene of the disease. Okay, so this depends on your specimen. Okay, what you are going to study, do you know anything about it, how much you know about the gene or its location, etc., etc. Okay, once the marker on the either side of an unmapped probable sequence are found, the chromosome walk can begin from one of the markers. Now this is depending on the diagram which I will show you in the further slide. Just remember that you should know probable sequence, okay, to the either side of your unknown or unmapped sequence. Okay, so if you have that, you can begin by using that particular sequence as a marker. The testing on each successive clone is complex, it is time consuming, and it and varied by species. Okay, there are different tests for genes related to plant diseases than for genes involved in the human gene library. Okay, so depending, as I said earlier, depending on your species, depending on your sample, depending on how much knowledge you have about your gene sequence, okay, do you know about its location or not, depending on that, tests on such successive clones are done, and those are actually complex, they are time consuming. Okay, so you may get varied results, you just cannot compare uh, with different tests which are used for plant disease and one which are used for human genes. Okay, so there are variations, there are differences. So positional cloning uses genetic markers that are known to inhabit the chromosomes of individuals who have specific disease. Okay, so mostly the genetical diseases are studied, their the role of particular gene is known. So it may happen that you may get the markers, genetic markers. Okay, you may have the information for those genetic markers, and you can directly use these markers in your chromosome walking. Okay, as we are, if you are studying about humans and that particular disease has been studied. Okay, so these databases of known common traits allow testing that can be used to identify individuals who may or may not have certain recessive genes for a disease that has not presented as yet. Okay, so depending on these databases, we can actually compare, we can actually allow testing, okay, for some recessive genes of a disease that may be present or may not. Okay, so this is our DNA, eukaryotic DNA of 80 kb, big size. Okay, so you need to study this. So what you will do, you will do restriction enzyme, you will use restriction enzyme, you will cut down this DNA sequence, and by using lambda arms you will clone and you will study each segment. Okay, so you will see there are some colored blocks in this given DNA segment. So these are actually exons which code for something, okay, some information or some proteins. Okay, so that is the useful region of the DNA. Okay, and the one which is blank or which is just with no color, so that is the region which is known as introns, which does not code for anything. Okay, so there are these regions between some exons. Okay, so we will start with the chromosome walking now. So once by using and doing this cloning and restriction enzyme process, you will just get to know about the markers. Okay, some known or identified gene sequence you will get. You will use that gene sequence as a probe, okay, to start your walking. So to this sequence we will design primer. Okay, and this primer will keep on adding nucleotides towards its 3' end. Okay, say around 700 base pairs or something. So from this A region, the primer will run further. Okay, so it will copy down the sequence from another sequence, sorry, from the template, and it will form the complementary sequence. Okay, so nucleotides will add on 3' end. Okay, so this whole process it takes place in PCR. We will be using what? PCR. Okay, so if you don't know about PCR, just go back and get your basics clear. Okay, so we will be doing this in PCR, right? So this E region, the primer for this A region will help us to get the further sequence. Okay, it will copy down from the template and we will get the complementary sequence for this further region. Okay, so here you may get the small a. Okay, so how you will know that the primer has copied down from the template or not? You will do cloning for your result, your PCR result. Okay, and this will be named as lambda clone 1. You will study this, you will identify the gene or the sequence. Okay, and again you will use this small a region to screen further, rescreen the library. Okay, so now you will design primer for this region. Okay, so now this this primer for small a region will run further. It will copy down the sequence from the template, correct? The complementary sequence will be formed. Okay, and now again this sequence will be cloned. Okay, by using the lambda arms, cloning will be done. So this clone will be named as lambda clone 2, which is adjacent to the clone 1 region. Okay, so this is how you are getting some overlap regions in each library clone, each clone, correct? So this is the overlapping region here. Again, in further, this is the overlapping region. Okay, then again further, this is the overlapping region. Okay, so depending on your primer, the primer will keep on copying the sequence from the template. You will keep on getting the complementary sequence. You will do cloning, and in cloning you will get to study, you will get to identify which sequence the primer has copied down from the template. Okay, whether it is the intron, whether it is the exon, does it has any function or not? Okay, so for that particular reason you need to do cloning. Okay, so this is how you get the sequence from you get the sequence by using the first probe, okay, first marker, and you keep on getting the complementary sequence by using the primers in the PCR. And this is how by doing cloning you will get the whole DNA mapped. Okay, you will get everything, introns and exons, you will get overlaps. Okay, and by using this information you can now precisely locate your gene where it is present. Okay, you can study the sequence, what mutations has happened, what mutations happen. Okay, so you can study that. So here for simplified version, here it is explained. So this is gene A and gene B, so that is this part. Okay, so you will see there are some overlaps, correct? So this is the overlapping region between 1 and 2. This is the overlapping region between 2 and 3. Okay, then again overlapping region from 3 and 4, correct? So this is how you identify the overlaps and you can get the proper sequence. You can locate your gene and you can study it. Okay, so there are some disadvantages to this technique. The limitation is actually the speed of chromosome walking due to the small size of the fragments which are used and which are copied down each time. Okay, so not a viable position if the markers are too far from each other. Okay, so for example, you need to sequence unmapped sequence named X. Okay, and your marker gene is too far from that particular X gene, then you will take it will take lot of time to get that sequence done. Okay, so that is not a viable option as the process is actually tedious. The process can be stopped easily by the presence of unclonable section of DNA. A solution to this problem is chromosome jumping that skips the unclonable section of the DNA. Okay, so chromosome jumping is another technique that will help you out to skip that unclonable section of the DNA and move further. The difficulty of walking through the repeated sequence that are scattered throughout the genes is again causing a lot of trouble, and that is the difficulty because it again consumes a lot of time, correct? So these are the advantages, and applications of chromosome walking are it is used to find mutations and analysis of genetically transmitted diseases, and it is used to detect the single nucleotide polymorphism of different organisms, which means that when a single nucleotide such as adenine or thymine or cytosine or guanine in the genome that differs between the members of the species, okay, that is SNP, that is single nucleotide polymorphism. Okay, so that is the application. So we had completed chromosome walking here. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well as Facebook by the same handle, that is Microbial Concepts. Till that, bye bye, and keep learning.